All right, let's dive into a topic that causes a ton of confusion, even for people deep in the tech world. Monitoring versus observability. You've heard these words thrown around, but what's the real difference? Well, we're going to clear that up right now.
So, are they the same thing? You hear people use them interchangeably all the time, right? But the truth is, they're absolutely not the same. They're fundamentally different approaches, and honestly, understanding why can completely change how you think about your systems.
So let's start with monitoring. This is the classic, the foundation of it all. Think of it as the basic health check for your system. It's all about looking for the problems you already know might happen.
And here's the key thing to get about monitoring. It's all based on questions you define up front. You basically sit down and think, okay, what are all the ways this thing could break? And then you build a dashboard to watch for exactly those things. And these are the kinds of questions we're talking about, right? Super straightforward stuff. Is the CPU getting maxed out? Are we about to run out of memory? Is the service even online? You know, the classic red light, green light checks that we've relied on for years.
But, and this is a big but, there's a huge limitation here. Monitoring is only as good as your own predictions. It can only tell you about the failures you've already imagined. So what happens when something totally new, something unexpected, breaks your system? Your monitoring might just be silent.
And that is precisely where observability enters the picture. This is the next step in the evolution. It's a totally different approach that's designed for the wild, unpredictable nature of today's complex systems. It's all about being able to explore the unknown. Notice the huge shift in thinking here. Observability isn't just about a checklist of problems. It's a capability. It's about having a system so well instrumented that when something weird happens, you can jump in and start asking questions you've never thought to ask before. And just look at the kinds of questions it helps you answer. These are not simple yes or no questions anymore. Why is the system slow for just this group of users? Or which specific service is the bottleneck? Answering that requires a much, much deeper level of insight. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. Let's boil this all down to the core difference. It really comes down to the gap between simply knowing that something is wrong and truly understanding why it's wrong.
And this says it all, doesn't it? Monitoring is the tool that yells at you, hey, something broke. Observability is what allows you to ask, okay, but why is it happening? It's the difference between just having an alarm and actually having an explanation.
You know, sometimes the best way to get a handle on a technical concept is a simple analogy. And there's a perfect one for this. Think of it like this. Monitoring is your smoke alarm. It's absolutely essential, right? It beeps like crazy to tell you there's a problem. But that's all it does. Observability, on the other hand, is the full investigation that happens after the alarm goes off. And what's part of that investigation? Well, you've got to find out where the fire started, figure out the root cause, understand how far it spread, and most importantly, learn what you need to do to make sure it never, ever happens again. Your smoke alarm just can't help you with any of that. So you might be wondering, why is this conversation happening now? Why is this suddenly such a big deal? Well, it all comes down to the sheer complexity of the systems we're all building today. Think about it. It used to be you had one big application on one server. If it broke, you knew exactly where to look. But today, we have microservices, containers, Kubernetes. A single failure can set off a crazy chain reaction across dozens of different interconnected services. Just imagine one person clicking a button on your app. That single request might bounce between 5 different microservices, hit a database, then call out to some third-party API. A failure anywhere along that complicated path could bring things down, and simple monitoring just can't trace that entire journey. To get that complete picture, observability tools pull together 3 core types of data. You've got your metrics, which are the raw numbers. You've got your logs, which are records of specific events. And you have traces, which actually map out that entire journey a request takes. It's the combination of all 3 that gives you the context you need. Okay, we've gone through a lot, so let's wrap this up. What is the one key takeaway you should walk away with? This is so important to understand. Observability is not a replacement for monitoring. You still need your smoke alarms. The right way to think about it is that monitoring is a critical part of a much broader observability strategy. Here's one last way to lock it in. Monitoring helps you understand your system's health. Is it up or down, green or red?
Observability helps you understand your system's behavior. What is it actually doing, moment to moment, and why is it doing it?
And if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Monitoring tells you that something broke. Observability helps you understand why it broke. And in the complex systems we manage today, knowing why is everything.